6. Then it's Illinois, Maine, Missouri, New Mexico, Arizona, and South Dakota, the top 12 in the state/city division. Jerry Curtis of Ireland, the newcomer to the team, the 1989 Irish cross-country champion. And he is running with determination,
He is
Frank.
really running well. Just when you think he's out of it, he comes back. Coming into the park. They just turned into the park. They're going to come up to the next relay, and there goes Curtis.
And it is Jerry Curtis of Ireland, 29 years of age. He is a fireman.
A big surprise. But Eyestone is a good sprinter. It's not over yet. Eyestone on the left, Curtis on the right, starting their sprint to the next exchange.
And this will be the third exchange point that will take place here in Central Park. And the fourth exchange will also be in Central Park.
And Ed Eyestone starting to go by. Now Curtis responding. This is a great leg.
And right now it is Jerry Curtis of Ireland, just about a half a step, maybe now a step in front of Ed Eyestone of the United States.
Now they're timing their sprint. You're saying, how long can I leave it before I start to sprint? You're thinking, am I faster than this guy? If I am, I can wait for him to go first, then I'll go second. If you're not, you have to do what Curtis is doing. He's starting to press now.
And they, of course, now start to look for the cone. The cone is 100 meters out from the exchange point. That's where they can take the sash off and get ready for the exchange. There's a 20-meter exchange zone, and now Curtis is opening up a big lead over Ed Eyestone.
Curtis is really running well. I think Eyestone was surprised, and look at Ed Eyestone. He's starting to tie up. When you say that, he's getting tight. He's not running relaxed. Curtis, good leg speed. Look at his leg turnover.
And Curtis will be handing off to Frank O'Mara of Ireland, and Eyestone will be giving to Keith Brantley of the United States. Now they're within the zone. You can see that the sash is coming off, and we're ready for the exchange.
The Irish running very, very tough.
Curtis to Frank O'Mara. And he sets his watch so he can keep tab on his own pacing, and Ed Eyestone gives to Keith Brantley. And now Great Britain comes in, the exchange to Dave Lewis. And now as they come back past our broadcast area, it is Frank O'Mara and Brantley now coming out very quickly, trying to close down the gap on him.
It's a smart move. You want to regain that gap as quickly as you can and then settle it to your pace.
And this is Dave Lewis of Great Britain, who you saw going just past the start-finish line, and he is in third place behind O'Mara of Ireland and Brantley of the United States. And Brantley now has closed on O'Mara, and now he takes the lead. He may be going out too quickly, Frank.
He's very excited. He's in very good shape. He's had a little rest. He sprained his ankle slightly this week, which probably was a good thing. He could relax a little bit, not be tempted to run. But you're right, Charlie, he may be going out too fast. If O'Mara is smart, he'll let him get about 10 yards ahead and then gradually pick away to gain that distance back.
Brantley from Gainesville, Florida, not used to running this kind of weather.
He's not, but he's experienced. He's run in all kinds of conditions, and there's no wind. They're warm, Charlie. We're cold.
Yes. And his modus operandi, he usually does go out hard. It's O'Mara, Lewis, Boffey, Cato, Ondeki, Alcala, Leontev, and Brantley.
The other thing Keith Brantley has to remember is that Frank O'Mara is a very, very good miler.
And here is the exchange in fourth place, and this is Cepeda of Mexico, and he will be handing off to Alcala. So Mexico is in fourth place. It's Ireland, the United States and Ireland now. Great Britain is in third, Mexico, then Japan, the Soviet Union, Kenya, and Italy, with California continuing to lead the state division. And we'll be back to Central Park in New York City, our continuing coverage of America's Ekiden, the United States in front of Ireland, Great Britain. America's Ekiden. We're back in Central Park in New York City. This is Keith Brantley of the United States. He is the leader, and this is the fourth of 5 legs, only the anchor remaining, and that is a 10K remaining. Brantley has a 70-yard lead over Frank O'Mara of Ireland. Ireland, the defending champion, and Great Britain is another 80 yards back and that is Dave Lewis, as we'll come now to the final exchange point. And Keith Brantley has really run well, Frank.
Keith is running the best leg, I think, so far in this competition. Who would have thought that the race would be broken open in the shortest leg? Keith Brantley just took off, ran very fast for the first half mile, settled in, looked a little tired. He looks tired now, but he should be the way he's run this leg. He is really breaking this open.
In the international division, United States, Ireland, Great Britain, Mexico, the top 4. And of course, there's the state division. Mark Junkerman of California. California leading the state division. Massachusetts is running second. Dave Dunham and this leg for Massachusetts. And Junkerman, as a matter of fact, is running 6th overall. So it's United States, Ireland, Great Britain, Mexico, Japan, then California from the state division, Kenya, the Soviet Union, and Italy. And this is the leader, Keith Brantley, 26 years of age, formerly of the University of Florida.
And he's busting open our theory about the weather, Charlie, because here he's from Florida. Steve Scott winning the opening 5K leg from California. So despite the adverse conditions, it really is conditioning that's winning out here.
So what it really means, if you've got the talent, the weather doesn't really come into play. We're in Central Park. We're going to the final exchange point. You look for the cone. That is 100 meters away from the exchange point. And as soon as you come to the cone, then you can take off the Tsuzuki, the sash that the runners then are wearing, and make the exchange. Brantley now is laboring a bit as he comes uphill. You can tell from the strain on his face, he has really put out a lot of effort on this leg. And now he's with 100 meters of the exchange. And you can see O'Mara from Ireland is closing down on him from behind a little bit. Here's the exchange. Pat Porter will be anchoring for the United States.
Oh, Brantley was really psyched. He was really excited about his leg.
And now Great Britain coming into the exchange. And that is Lewis to Eamon Martin. And the top 3, Pat Porter of the United States, John Doherty of Ireland, Eamon Martin of Great Britain. And now let's take a look at the team members. Internationally, these are all the anchormen: Doherty, Martin, Allegro, and Wakakura of Japan, Koech, Barrios, Dasko, and Pat Porter of the United States.
Pat Porter out in front is a very good front runner. When he runs cross country, he's the best cross country runner probably in United States history. He loves to go to the front. He loves to go hard. So he is going to have this lead for a while.
Trains at altitude, Alamosa, Colorado, which is about 7,500 feet. We talked to him before the race, and he was really psyched. He said, the only bad thing is I've got to wait around a long time before I get a chance to run.
Now he's got his chance, and he also, as we've been stating all day, knows the effort that his teammates put out. The U.S. is really the surprise. They're going for pride here. Haven't been running too well in recent years, the United States distance runners. I think they want to show the Brits, they want to show the Irish that the U.S. really can compete.
America's Ekiden, Central Park, New York City. We'll be back. Porter of the United States continues to lead, but now John Doherty of Ireland is really closing on him and may take a pass right here.
He's going to settle in for a moment. Now we have to see whether or not he decides to go by. He is going to go by, and Pat Porter better go with him. At this point, Doherty has to have put out more energy to catch Pat Porter, but he's got momentum. He feels good. He's going by, and he's starting to stretch it out. This could be the race right here. Pat Porter has to stay with him going down this hill.
Doherty had the fastest 10K leg in last year's Ekiden here in New York City. And Pat Porter, one of the greatest cross-country runners in America history. He's won the national title record-tying 7 times. But now, the duel begins. Doherty of Ireland, Porter of the United States.
And they're nearing the north end of Central Park, going down a hill. They'll bottom out near the ice skating rink up at the north end of the park, and then they'll start up a hill. And that could be where this race really happens. Pat Porter coming back, which is good. When someone catches you from behind, your cadence has been a little bit slower. You have to pick it up. They just went by 4 kilometers, so they have 6 kilometers to go. They're not quite halfway.
And Pat Porter retakes the lead.
Good strategy. Using the downhill, letting his legs run, Now we see how much hill training Pat Porter's been doing in Alamosa when they start up that hill. Psychology here. Porter went by and said, okay, I'll respond. I won't just tuck in behind. I'll take the lead and press again. I'll make you work. You had to work to catch me. You're trying to rest. I'm going to work again.
This is the state leader, Dan Grimes of California. And he overall, in reality, is in 6th place, but leading the state's division and running second in that division is Wally Collins, representing the state of Massachusetts. So it's California and Massachusetts, 1-2 in the state division in Central Park in the Ekiden. And now the lead has exchanged again as John Doherty of Ireland retakes the lead from Pat Porter.
They're starting to reach the bottom of this hill, and the strategy is try to get a little lead going up. You can see the skating rink in the background. They're going to make a left-hand turn here. Pat Porter ran a little more intelligently there. He cut the tangent, ran a little less distance. Now they're starting up the hill. Now we see who really has something left.
Why not an advantage of either runner tucking behind the other and being pulled along rather than staying side by side?
I think it's more psychology, Charlie. You do have a point. From behind, you can save a little energy, but if you're up on someone's shoulder running side by side, you can look at them and see how they are. And they want to know just what the level of fatigue is in the other runner.
What do you look for?
You'll look for the shoulders starting to tighten up a little bit. You press a little bit, get an inch or two ahead, and see if the other runner responds. Right now, Doherty's pressing up the hill. Now Porter has to stay with him. You can see he tucks in behind the shoulder. He's running a little less distance. Doherty got the inside track there. But they're both laboring up this hill. Neither is really sprinting away. They're just trying to work and press, and at a certain point, someone will press a little bit harder and see what happens. Of course.
And this is Dan Grimes of California. As California is leading, it is John Doherty of Ireland who's now trying to make the break over Pat Porter of the United States.
With 4 kilometers to go, he's put the accelerator down a little bit. Porter doesn't seem to be responding. Now it's just a question of how much of a lead will Doherty get before he settles back into his pace. Pat Porter can't fall too far behind so that when Doherty does settle in, he can try to regain that distance, but you don't want to fall back at this point. Pat Porter is not back there as part of a...
And here he comes.
John Doherty from Ireland.
And he should be comfortably under the 2-hour barrier.
For the second year in a row, the winner of the second America taking it is Ireland.
And here he is at the finish line, 1:58.20. 1:58.20 when he hit the barrier. And the clock continues to move as they pick up now Pat Porter, who is coming in second. And he could well be under the 2-hour barrier. Did I say 2 minutes? I meant 2 hours. 1:58.42. 1:58.42. Eamon Martin of Great Britain. And we're seeing the finest Ekiden finish in history at the marathon distance. And Eamon Martin, a 1:59.03. And so the top 3 finishers all under 2 hours.
That's Jerry Curtis there on the left, who ran that great leg. He was the weak link. John Treacy in the middle of the Irish team. Very good performance. John Doherty in the middle, giving the victory sign. And the Irish team, they've only got 5 runners in that country of international level, but they're real good.
A tremendous annual leg at 10,000 meters.
Grimes looking back over his shoulder as he comes to the finish line. Dan Grimes of California, 7th overall, capturing the state championship.
Excellent annual leg by
And Arizona will finish second in that division. Bo Reed of Arizona finishing second. America's Ekiden, Central Park, New York City. We'll be back.
NBC Sports presentation of America's Ekiden has been brought to you by Canon. Quality and innovation for the way we work and live. by ASICS. With ASICS, don't just do it better. By Seiko, the official timer of America's Ekiden program. And by American Airlines, something special in the air.
Now let's go down to Gail Gardner. She's with the champions.
Okay, Charlie, thank you very much. The entire Irish team surrounding me. John Treacy here to my right, John Doherty to my left. You just saw John run that tremendous final leg. What was going through your head overtaking Pat Porter?
Well, when I was catching Pat, I thought maybe that he was waiting until I caught him and then he would maybe take off again. But when I tried to go past him, he stayed with me for a while. But then I put in a hard surge about 7K and I managed to get away, so I was pleased.
John Treacy, I know how much spirit this team has had, and the fact that you have now broken the 2-hour barrier in the Ekiden, that is absolutely tremendous. All the 3 top teams did, but the fastest Ekiden ever run.
Yeah, it was a real good, consistent performance by everyone on the team, and we were all really ready to run this. We wanted to defend, and we're all delighted, obviously.
Defended very well. Let's go back upstairs now to Charlie.
Here are the official results in the international division. Ireland, the winner, followed by the United States, Great Britain, Mexico, Japan, Kenya, the Soviet Union, and then Italy. And in the states division, it was California, Arizona, Colorado, Massachusetts, Minnesota, New York City, Michigan, Illinois, New York State, and then Pennsylvania. And once again, here's Gail Gardner. Gail?
Okay, Charlie, thank you very much. A couple of members of the American team. Americans finishing second. We have Keith Brantley on my right and Pat Porter on my left. And Keith, you came up with the big lead. You handed Pat the big lead. Did you think you had the race won?
I think so. Pat is a very capable runner, and we just didn't expect John Doherty to run out of his head like that. Came a lot closer than we finished last year. Next year, hopefully it will change.
Okay, Keith, thank you. And Pat, from your vantage point, what happened?
Keith ran a very superior leg, as most of the people on our team did, and he gave me the sash with about a 7-second lead. In the back of my mind, I was thinking I probably wouldn't get caught until halfway through at the 5-kilometer mark, and I was kind of shocked into life when John came by me at about 2 kilometers, and it kind of took me by surprise, and I actually took him for granted, as I did the Irish team, which is something you really can't do. So caught me with my pants down, and
so to speak.
So to speak.
Okay.
And I was caught bringing up the rear as far as our 2-man race was concerned. But I think I ran a really good leg. John Doherty just ran a very superior leg.
Okay, Pat Porter, thank you. Let's go back up to Charlie.
Thank you, Gail. The winners' trophies, each with a 1-carat diamond, were designed and created especially for America's Ekiden for the house of Harry Winston, America's premier jeweler.
Because they are winners.
The fastest Ekiden ever at a marathon distance, 1:58.20. Top 3 teams all under 2 hours. Frank?
And John Doherty ran 27 minutes and 50 seconds on a very hilly 10-kilometer course. Probably one of the best performances all time at the distance.
A very exciting event today. For Frank Shorter, Gail Gardner, I'm Charlie Jones. So long from Central Park in New York City.
It's the night country goes Hollywood as Patrick Duff.